5'6", he has a gun.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up, Jeremy! Sacramento Police Department!
His gun.
Put your hands up, Jeremy! Jeremy, put your hands up! Drop the gun!
Move!
Move!
Get out of the way!
Move!
Get out of the way!
Jeremy, drop the gun!
Drop the gun!
Jeremy, drop the gun!
Units code. Get out of the way!
Move! Jeremy, drop the gun!
Drop the gun!
Gun, Jeremy. You like?
Yes.
Light came on.
Yes. Drop the gun!
Jeremy, drop the gun. Ma'am, get out of the way.
Get out of the way!
Get out of the way. Jeremy, drop the gun.
Drop the gun, Jeremy. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Stop.
He's pointing it right here. He's pointing it right here. Okay?
Ma'am, get out. Go. Come here. Come here.
I'm gonna let you take. He's pointing it, okay?
I'm up on rifle.
Go on that side. Doesn't have body cam on.
Hey, I'm
Back
gonna take
out.
a shot. I'm gonna take a shot.
Back out. Back. Shots fired.
Stay right there! Stay right there!
Get back!
Stop.
Get back!
Jeremy, drop the gun.
Where's
Drop the gun! He dropped the gun! Gun's on the ground!
You guys got a vest. I don't have a vest.
Gun's on the
Start fire,
ground!
code 3. Suspect down.
Get a shield! Get a shield!
The gun's away from him, right?
We got a car nearby. You guys are there.
The gun is to the left.
Get on your stomach. Hey,
Stay
stay
down!
there.
Stay on the ground! Stay on the ground! Show us your hands! Keep your hands out in front of you!
Intense. Was there any other way to handle this situation? One little fact I want to put back in there. At the end of the video, obviously we can't show you some of this stuff, right? But at the end of the video, he's crawling towards that gun again, and there's a second shot fired that I heard in the video that I watched. Tough stuff. This is the real world. This is what happens, and that's part of the reason we do this segment, is to bring some reality to what is happening day in and day out. Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee, was there any other way to handle this situation? He's suspected of shooting someone else, and he's armed.
I really don't think so, Benny. Unfortunately for the police officers, they were put in a position where they had to use deadly force. And I haven't met a police officer yet in my 30-something years of experience that desires to take someone's life. The caveat to the whole situation was that there was a female there. Had he been alone, possibly they could have called in a hostage negotiator or a negotiator, period. To try to talk him down. But with the young lady being there and the threat of her being shot by him, I believe the officers did the right thing, basically.
Stephen Gaynor, this was, I've watched a lot of these videos. You know, we do this segment every night, and you know, this one was really intense. And we had many different vantage points of the whole thing. Was there any other way you saw that this could have been handled?
I got to agree with you, Vinny. This was tense. When we're looking at that rock wall, I'm trying to poke around the corner with my head to see what the suspect's doing. I'm so interested in seeing what's going on. So it's very, very intense videos, and you watch them all, and you really get an understanding. And you actually see in one of the videos or hear him say he's not going back. So I guess he had been in prison or jail, and he wasn't going back. He makes that statement. The officers clearly know him. They're calling him by his name, Jeremy, and at one point give his last name. He points the gun at the officers in a threatening manner a number of times. They have a lot of restraint and not shooting him at that first time. And I think it's clearly going to be a suicide by cop. He might have made a phone call to say goodbye to somebody. We don't know, but he's on the phone, and then he hangs up, and then he purposely approaches the officers in a threatening manner, and they have to shoot him. And you know, they did their best to negotiate at the time. The female was trying to block the shots from both the officers and the suspect at the time. So very, very intense video to watch, but I don't think any other outcome could have come from it.
Lieutenant Colonel, when is the time that, you know, there's a confrontation, there's a bit of a standoff? At what point And how do you make the calculation, the determination, this is the moment where I'm going to discharge my weapon?
Well, two things. Like Stephen was just saying, he at one point he points the weapon down the alleyway there from the courtyard, and I believe prior to the officers arriving, he was pointing the weapon at the young lady. So there must have been some confrontation that was happening between him and her to make him feel that he had to point a weapon at her. So not sure what that was all about, but of course she was always in danger of being shot by him. She was in danger of being shot by the police by mistake because, as Stephen said, it looks like it might have been a relationship and she was trying to keep him from being harmed by the police. It was just a bad situation all the way around, and I don't think the officers had much of a choice, and I'm sure they did not want to take his life.
Hey, Vinny, you know what we saw in this one that we don't normally see? Do you know what we saw? We saw the officer call out, I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to take the shot. So we didn't have that situation where we have 20 or 30 shots downrange. We have one officer calling out, I'm taking the shot, so nobody else has that response that they fire at the same time. We saw him take only as many shots as they needed.
Right. That's what we like to call firearms discipline.
Absolutely. All right, Stephen Gaynor, Lieutenant Colonel Adam Lee, stick with us. We got more Crime Time straight ahead. Don't go anywhere.